senior analyst for us here at Sekulow, Tulsi Gabbard, is joining us now. Let's play this new sound from Hillary Clinton, and I want to get Tulsi's reaction. Take a listen.
He thinks that if he bullies you enough, and it's worked with the Republican Party, it certainly has worked with the House Republicans, as we see every day now. If he bullies you enough, you will give in. He really doesn't understand enough history to have an informed opinion, but it wouldn't matter anyway because he wants to be on the side of, the big guys. But the bottom line is he's easily bullied and he's easily flattered.
Tulsi, I want to go right to you on this because for Hillary Clinton to talk about bullying people, I'd like your reaction. I mean, you were on the debate stage with her, and I feel like you were pretty much bullied out of the Democrat Party for taking views that might be, again, not in the, mainstream of every single point that they have in their, of the Democrat playbook. And they basically bullied you out. They called you, horrible things, said you were some kind of Russian agent, even though you serve our U.S. military. I mean, they let it all out on you, and yet they're claiming that President Trump is the bully.
Yeah, Jordan, the hypocrisy is deafening. While I did not get to engage with her on the debate stage, I surely wish that I could have. Her presence was known. I think it's very telling that back in the 2016 election, I was asked by an MSNBC reporter, because I was coming out very strongly against Hillary Clinton in that primary election as a Democrat. I resigned as a vice chair of the DNC in order to do that, calling her out for her record that had cost so many lives and cost us trillions of dollars, her record as the queen of warmongers. An MSNBC reporter asked me on live television just before one of those debates saying, "Aren't you afraid of Hillary Clinton and what she'll do to you?" That right there said it all. To have somebody from MSNBC posing that question with some real concern in their voice points to exactly what kind of person she is and the leverage and the strength that she uses to ultimately go after her opponents, retaliate with a kind of vindictiveness that is so toxic, and also, of course, reward their friends. The day that I resigned as vice chair of the DNC, went after Hillary Clinton on her record. I went back to Capitol Hill. We had votes. I was serving in Congress, and many of my Democrat colleagues told me very directly, "Tulsi, you have just committed political suicide. There is a list of names that Hillary Clinton keeps, and you will never be able to work your way off that list." It's ironic for her to be levying these accusations. Again, instead of doing what she should be doing, what everyone should be doing, was say, focus on the substance. If you want to argue for or against a piece of legislation or an issue, focus on that. Why resort to the kind of name calling and smear tactics and censorship that she and her friends in the propaganda media and big tech very often resort to, not only with me, but obviously with Donald Trump, with anyone who dares to cross them and defy their wishes or their position.
I want to go back to what that MSNBC reporter said. They said to you, "Aren't you afraid? Aren't you afraid of what Hillary Clinton might do to you?" And then we saw Chuck Schumer say, Donald Trump, he's going to face a whirlwind if he wants to take on the CIA and the FBI and the intel community. Why? Why should the elected president of the United States have to face the whirlwind of the CIA and FBI who they serve? I mean, they take their orders from him, not the other way around. And yet we saw how the CIA and FBI used their resources to damage President Trump as much as possible. I mean, it's not an empty threat, Tulsi. I would say that's probably why the MSNBC reporter said it somewhat seriously, is these are not just threats. I mean, they come with backing and they come with evidence, and we've seen evidence of it.
We've seen so many pieces of evidence of it that they will find whatever way they can to manufacture so-called proof in order to destroy people that they want to destroy or to be able to help their friends. The Chuck Schumer quote, the warning that he gave Donald Trump, basically saying Trump is stupid to be messing with the intelligence agencies and the intelligence community, it sends a very chilling message that these people, Chuck Schumer, elected leaders in the House and Senate, are terrified of government institutions that they are supposed to be exercising oversight over. So they've created a situation, the Chuck Schumers of the world have created a situation where they tell the intelligence community, basically, you do whatever you want because we're too afraid to do our jobs in looking out for the American people, looking out for our Fourth Amendment rights, our civil liberties, our right to privacy. You guys can destroy whoever you want to, or better yet, we will tell you who we want to destroy. Let's go back and look at that memo that was signed by the 51 former senior intelligence officials that was orchestrated by Tony Blinken, by people who still worked at the CIA at that time, to be able to pull that all together in such a short period of time. Why did they do that? Because of, and this was delivered in testimony to Congress, because they needed a piece of evidence for Joe Biden to use to shut down Trump's line of attack against him, that Hunter Biden was trading on his relationships and was corrupt in his dealings with other countries. They got the piece of paper. Joe Biden used it in the debate and said, look, here's the proof. Here's the evidence that Donald Trump is lying. Well, it turns out Donald Trump was telling the truth and the rest of these people were lying. They have no reservations and will go to all ends in order to get what they want. And what they want is power.
You know, Tulsi, we're going to see a vote over the weekend, which has been a long time coming, to separate out some of this foreign funding to different countries who are facing or requesting military aid and funding from the United States. The left wanted all of this combined, and that was just not going to pass through the House. It was clear they were trying to punish Republicans through that and make them look like they were like anti-Ukraine. But most of them said, listen, we just want accounting for what we've already sent to Ukraine before we send more money to Ukraine. So Speaker Johnson, again, was able to finally get this divided up into 4 separate votes that will be taken over the weekend. One will be on Israel, another will be on Ukraine, one will be on kind of Indo-Pacific and Taiwan more specifically. And, they're not saying China specifically, but we know that's 4. And then one, which we don't have an exact number yet, but they're going to announce for our own U.S. Military. I mean, to me, this seems much more reasonable so that members of Congress don't have to decide, hey, I want to vote for all of these countries, or I think, Israel accounts for it the right way. Ukraine, I'm a little bit more, I want some more info on. Taiwan, I get because of China. And of course, I want to fund the U.S. military. Is this the right amount? So dividing it up, I don't think is so dangerous to our national security, because it actually allows members of Congress to learn more about where this money is going.
Yeah, Jordan, there's a few important things here. Number one, yes, I agree that these kinds of bills and bills on any other topic, you should have them introduced and brought to the floor for a vote as standalone votes. We all know the reason why they lumped these things together, why the Democrats wanted to lump these things together, is because they were worried, as you said, that the Ukraine vote might lose. It's such a dishonest way of policy making and governing, because members of Congress are then not held accountable for their position on a single issue. They then go back and say, oh, well, I wasn't really for that, but it had this other really important thing, so I didn't have a choice on how to vote. Well, in this case, by separating them out and breaking them out, I agree that Speaker Johnson's made the right decision to have individual debate on each of these and individual votes. I think that's important. But really, what I hope to see in this, and he talked about amendments and other things, what I hope to see in this is that the American people should demand, at a bare minimum, an accounting of the dollars that they are spending, our taxpayer dollars. But what really needs to come out in this is a conversation about Ukraine, for example, but every one of these. What is our objective in the spending of these billions of dollars? How does it serve our country's national security interests? How does it serve the interests of the American people? When you look at Ukraine, how is another $50 or $60 billion going to improve the situation there? This is a longer conversation, but they need to get to the heart of these issues and not just settle for the mere accounting of dollars and cents. The other thing, real quick,
Tulsi, they got $300 million set aside for Ukraine out of the $61 billion to secure their border. It'd be nice if they wanted to spend that money on our southern border, because I don't think you could secure the entire Ukraine border for $300 million. Tulsi, we always appreciate you joining us.